have a question for
Mhm.
the CBA also. When it comes to um the study, as you said, on the blueprint, there is no much information. I'm just reading anything or just having information about anything. Is there anything that can guide us
I'm
based
sorry.
on like the guide us based on the CBA? On even though on the blueprints we have we have some topics that we
Mhm.
can do. But see, I still feel like it's not enough. I don't know if I'm doing good or I'm just, I don't know about how the exam would be. Just, I don't know.
Okay, so I think you're asking about what you will expect, like what
Yes,
kind of nursing questions or
yes,
exam type you will expect. Is that what you're asking?
yes. And based on topic wise, let's say,
Yes.
is it going to be these types of conditions or I don't know.
So yes, going back to the fact that the blue book is your source of truth, it really is in a way that whatever topics they mentioned for RNs, for LPNs, those are the topics that will uh, be asked of you. So there are a lot of topics. I think there's like 20 something topics for the nursing one. Um, Not all of them may be asked. Some of them will be asked several times, some will be asked a few times, or some topics may not be asked at all. Again, it's a computer generated type of questions, but basically the questions will be mostly around those topics.
Hmm.
Did I
Hmm.
answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
I know I would suggest though that you don't just stick to those topics that's highlighted on the blueprint. It's nice to know them. It's important that you understand those topics. You don't just, memorize the passive physio, but put it in the context of Canadian nursing. That's the most important part, I think.
Another question. You just mentioned Canadian nursing. That's my issue. I don't want a case where I'll get there and then I'll do like what I know from here, and then there'll be like a huge gap, and I'll be asked to because I learned the exam is not based on like you having getting 100% or whatever, but you being able to like they being able to know the gaps between your country and then theirs. That is
Mhm.
how it's like. And I also heard that if after the exam and then you are being after the assessment, sorry, and
Mhm.
then the gap in between is you be asked to have like a re-education or like for like another 2 months or so. I don't know how true it is. Please, did you get my question?
Um, your question is about what to expect once you're done with your NCAS assessments. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Are we are you asking immediately after your computer based and immediately after your simulation lab assessments or
After they've gone through whatever you've done, what will be the results?
okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
after those results, whether good or bad, what is the next step for an
Mm-hmm.
individual?
Yes. So honestly, it really depends on the individual, right? On the assessment that that BCCNM will determine based on the international educated nurse credentials, education, experience, and assessment results. It varies from person to person. I think that's one of the reasons why it's a little bit confusing for a lot of IENs because it's not a straightforward answer. Some IENs will be asked to take a few courses. Previously, honestly, the majority of IENs, like 2, 3 years ago, were asked to take 1 year bridging course. And that was through the Kwantlen Polytechnic University, their Guinea program, or that was with Thompson Rivers University. Unless you're an IEN and you want to be doing your bridging outside of BC, there's another school affiliated for that. But now with the revamp process, with the improved IEN process, a lot of IENs were asked to take maybe on average 3 to 5 courses and an average of at least 250 preceptorship hours. If you get less than 4 courses, some IENs that's already good for them. But then again, it really depends on the individual's rating or the assessment that BCCNM will award that individual, right? There are those very few that were not asked to do any courses any longer. They were just asked to do the preceptorship hours of 250. There were those that were asked just 1 or 2 courses. And there are also very few that were asked not to take any courses nor preceptorship at all, right? So it's really important that at the very beginning, before you start your credential evaluation, it's very important to be able to speak to someone who has gone through the process in a way, because I feel it gives you an edge when you do your application.
Okay.
Did I make you more confused or?
I think it's getting more clearer,
Mhm.
getting more clearer because I wanted to really know about what if you come for the test and then things don't go as planned. I wanted to really know that.
When you say things don't go as planned, can you give a particular example for that?
Okay. We are all hoping that after the CBA and then the SLA, we are able to sail through without going through these courses, these bridging courses. But what if it happens and then you are asked to go for a bridging course? I wanted to know what that also entails so
Oh,
that you
yes.
prepare
That
exactly.
entails money, money and time. So what happens
Yeah.
for those bridging courses is that, for example, you've done your NCAS, you've gone through everything already, and BCCNM made their decision that you have to do the bridging course. It means that you have to apply to those schools that BCCNM recognize. So the last time I checked, there were 3 schools here in BC that are affiliated or are recognized by BCCNM. So what you can do is that you can send your application to those schools. You have to do it yourself. That's the thing. BCCNM will not do that for you. They will not forward your results to those schools. You have to
Okay.
do your due diligence. You have to look at the school information about the program. You have to check if they're taking students, if it's already the intake or the opening time, because there's also a wait list in some actually in all of the schools.
Wow.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's why previously, during my time, some IANs, I personally know someone, it took her 5 years before she was given her provisional. because she had to go through the lengthy credential evaluation. Previously, it was only through NNAS, and then there's a waiting list on the school. I also know someone who had to apply twice. Um, what happens is that the school will announce that they will open their intake at a certain day and a certain time, and so a lot of people are in front of their computers to make sure that as soon as it opens, they get in, they get into a, they have a slot. But because of the traffic, some people don't get in, and so they're not part of that cohort. They have to wait for another intake to apply. And that was before, that was like at least 2 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's changed now, but there's still a shortage of nursing seats.
Okay. Um, Another question. I'm doing all the talking.
Sorry.
I said I'm doing all the talking. I
Um,
need. I have a lot of questions to be asked. Please
right.
about the preceptorship.
Sorry.
About the you said 2 hour preceptorship. You mentioned that earlier.
I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to.
You wanted.
You mentioned 250 hours preceptorship that was also being done.
Mhm.
Uh, for that one, are you supposed to be in Canada to do that, or you can be in your home country?
Oh yes, you have to be here because it's more like it's your time to have that protected experience in a
Okay.
Canadian healthcare setting.
Okay. I'm asking based on the visa, the immigration staff also. It's not easy. Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last word.
But I was asking how would the immigration staff also be like? Since you're supposed to come there, do you have to apply for another visa if should in case something like that happens? Since I'm not in Canada for now, I'm just
Oh,
hoping to get write the exam, then return back, then wait
oh.
for my result.
Oh, that's
Okay.
your plan. Okay. Honestly, I can't answer that. I think an immigration lawyer or consultant will be able to answer that better for you. But I think because you have a 6 year validity on your visa, then I think it's okay. I may be wrong, but it's better to consult the right people for that. But I feel like because you have a valid visa, then you can do that. Um,
Okay.
yeah. I think we have several minutes left. So let's give Annalyn a time to ask a few questions. Do you have any questions, Annalyn? I know you've been here you've been here for a while in BC. Do you have any questions still though?
And most of my questions were really related to what Sumaya actually asked, Miss, like how it's gonna be or how it's going to be, and also about the 250 hours of preceptorship. Regarding that, like, do you apply if ever you'd be given that for the evaluation? Would you be applying to any facility, or are there recognized facilities that BCCNM would give you to apply for or
So
apply?
mhm, those preceptorship hours will still go through the school because you can't apply to any facility without a clinical instructor. So that's what I know. What I know is that you have to have an instructor. So previous, I can only speak about the previous ones, and actually, I can't speak about it fully because I'm not that experienced with it. Let me find some of my friends who had gone through that because I love it when it's a lived experience, right? And I was a bit I didn't have to go through that. So, but what I know when I was talking to fellow IENs, RNs, was that um, before there were only, for example, if they've taken their courses through KPU, then KPU has this affiliated hospitals and facilities, and that's where they do their preceptorship hours, because there's also like the clinical instructor from KPU in those facilities or hospitals. There was one IEN that I know personally. She lives in the island actually. She's in Parksville, and she was in a way lucky. They allowed her, and there was also an instructor that was able to support her to do her preceptorship in Vancouver Island. So it's really something that you have to have a conversation with the school and the facility. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Any other questions? No?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me is this something that's helpful? This is the first time to have a meet and greet. And so I'm not sure if it's something that, I that can give value to the IENs out there. Because I'm thinking if this is something that would give value, then I could possibly make time at least like twice a month to have this kind of conversations.
Personally, I would say it will really give value because, as we mentioned previously, there is not much information. And when you search on YouTube, like not like the NCLEX, when you search on YouTube, you're able to find maybe tutors that you can reach out to. So this is a very good initiative, and it would go a long way. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it would really do great good to like people IENs who are trying to meet it. So I think you are doing a great job. You should continue. And then, as you said, maybe make the hours longer to meet a lot of people. People are really, we are all scared. Me in particular, I don't know what to expect. But since I've
Mm-hmm.
talked to you, yes, I've been able to get much information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good initiative.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Samaya. Yeah, I'll try to be as consistent as I can. So maybe next time I'll be better. I'll be more ready. Maybe I'll put the exact time that we're meeting, so that everyone's able to carve out the time ahead, right? I'll do that. Anything else? Any other thing that you guys you think would be better to talk about next time? Yes, Annalyn?
I agree with Sumaya, Miss, that it would be better if there were more people, and
Mm-hmm.
so that more insights will be coming in. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe what we can do differently is to prepare the questions ahead,
Yeah.
and so that we can have like a flow.
Yes.
Um, sometimes I can't think, as for me personally, I can't think of a question like right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I need to really think about it, like beforehand. Yeah, that's it for me personally.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's nice to have the questions ready so that, if I could have those and I could find people that can speak better on those questions, and that I'll do my best to find other mentors available too, right? Okay. So next time we're gonna do like maybe a live one. Hopefully by that time YouTube works properly. And then I'll announce the time ahead so that we're all ready. This is like really a last minute thingy, and I had to send that Zoom invite because of the technicalities. But yeah, thank you for your feedback. I'll definitely look into that. I think it's important that we support each other. um, a lot of IENs, once they've done through the process and they get their RN or LPN and they're working, life can be busy. They won't have time to spare any longer. But it's important that, for me, it's nice to go back and support, right? So yeah, I hope when you guys get your licenses eventually, you also support your other upcoming IANs. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that good morning in your place, Ghana, right, Sumaya?
It's a good morning.
Good morning there and good night for us. Good night, Annalyn.
Okay,
Take
good
care.
night to you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Sumaya.
having me.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.